Can you sell a house during the probate process in Georgia? Let's talk about that. My name is Tanya Bird, and I am a real estate agent who specializes in probate, and I get this question a lot. And the short answer to it is it depends. So let's dive in today and explore what the depends answer means. First off, the whole process that kicks off the probate process is when you go and petition the court. If you don't have a will, you have to petition for letters of administration. And if you do have a will, then you're petitioning to be the executor and get your letters of testamentary. Once you kick off that process, then all of the heirs, whether you're doing the will or not, has to agree that you're either going to be the administrator or the executor. In most cases, the will lays this out, so it makes that process a little bit easier. When you're trying to go after and get those letters of administration, it could be a little bit harder. Could be that the probate court really wants to analyze who all the heirs are and make sure that you are the correct person who should be going out and getting the letters of administration. So I see the letters of administration sometimes take a little bit longer than if you have a will. So, hey, there's a big clue right there. If you don't have a will, get one that can help in this process. Of course, you have to do that before the person passes away. At any rate, once you petition the court, the heirs have to be notified, whether you have a will or not. Everybody kind of has to agree. And if they agree, then you get to take an oath saying that you're going to be the administrator or the executor, and that you're going to do everything in your power to settle the estate without harming heirs and all that stuff. And after that, there's about 4 weeks worth of ads that's ran out in the newspaper. That's why probate's so public. So get ready. You're going to get phone calls from a bunch of investors. At any rate, once the ads run and nobody objects, then you should be able to get your letters of administration and letters of testamentary. Now, at that point, depending on what's laid out in those letters can depend on if you sell immediately. If the court says, yes, you're good to go, then right after you get those letters of administration, you can hire your favorite probate specialist real estate agent, pop a sign in the yard, and start the selling process. But wait. Not everybody has permission of the court. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like and how this can actually cause delays in the entire process. So there's 4 areas when you petition the court that you can waive. One is the leave of sale, one is inventory, one is accounting, and one is a bond. And the bond's like an insurance policy that protects the heirs. Most wills will lay out that those things are waived, so the executor doesn't have to worry. But if you got a will that doesn't waive those things, then you're in the same boat as somebody who is an administrator. All the heirs have to agree to leave of sale. If they do not agree to waive the leave of sale, then you'll have to go to the probate court when you're ready to sell the house and get permission. And the court will show that you petition that, and then all the heirs have to agree, or they can object. If they object, this delays the process even longer. And then the attorneys have to try to get with the court and try mediation. And if you can't agree in mediation, then you might actually get to have to go in front of the judge and let the judge make the decision on whether or not the leave of sale is given or granted. That can be months and months and months. And like I always say, if everybody can be on the same page and get along, the faster this process can go. And unfortunately, most of person's estate equity money is hung up in the house itself. So the faster this process can go, the faster you can get the house sold, get the money into the account, get the probate process settled, and have the distribution of funds. So I highly try to recommend for people to try to get along during this process. Also, if the accounting and the inventory is not waived, then that also has to go in front of the probate court. And then the bond. If the person has to get a bond, which is, like I said, the insurance policy for the heirs, then posting that bond, and maybe there's additional bond money that has to come up, that can just drag out the process. So if you can get everybody to agree to waive those things, things go faster is the bottom line. The other thing that can hang up the process is if you have some title issues. But that's where here in the state of Georgia, you would work closely with the closing attorney to work out those title issues, which normally can be worked out with having those things cleared up at the closing table, paying off any additional like debts that are connected to the house, like liens. That can usually be handled at the closing table. Whew, I hope I did not make your head spin with all of that, because probate process can be very intricate, and that's why I say it depends on your situation. One of the things you can do is reach out to a real estate agent in your area, or if you don't have one in the area, I can get you connected with somebody in the state of Georgia and who knows the probate process very well. Matter of fact, I could do that for the entire United States, but these are Georgia specific videos. At any rate, my best advice is get with a real estate agent who understands this. Probate's a long game, and oftentimes I meet the people at the very beginning of the process, and it can go quick. I've worked with people where after 3 months they got their letters of testamentary or administration, and we were able to get the house on the sale. But I've worked with people over a year, kind of watching the probate process, particularly if they're struggling with the family arguments. Bottom line is I'm here to support through that entire process, and I will always point you back to the attorney if I don't know the answer, because I'm not an attorney. Meanwhile, you can be getting the house in order. You could be doing an inspection to see if there's any repairs that need to be done so that you're not blindsided when you put the house on the market. If you can't fix up the house, you can always sell it as is and advertise it that way and put it on the open market as is. And of course, I have vendors that I can recommend, at least in the Atlanta area, who can help you out with clean out if you need help with clean out. People who can come in, make repairs if you need them to, people who can come in and clean. Oftentimes, clean houses, even if they're not in the best condition, will sell better than clutter ones. So if we can get all the items distributed out to the family members and cleared out and everything cleaned. But this is how you explore your options, because there's many routes you can go. When we meet, that's when we would discuss what your options are, whether or not you go from doing it as, hey, I'm not going to fix anything, I'm going to sell it as is, or I'm going to go middle of the road and fix some things, like maybe carpet and paint, or I really want to kind of flip the house and put everything modern in. We can measure what the return on investment is with all of those, so that you can go in with your eyes wide open and make the best decision possible for the estate. I'm also going to recommend you get with an attorney, particularly if people aren't getting along. I've only done one probate deal where my client didn't use an attorney, and you can certainly in the state of Georgia go and file for probate without having to use an attorney. However, everyone was getting along, and there was a will involved, and they knew from the get-go who the executor was going to be, and everybody signed off in a quick fashion, and it ran smoothly. If people aren't getting along, get the attorney involved. You just don't know if you need to protect yourself, protect the estate, and make certain that everything is going in a smooth manner, because I don't know what it is about when somebody dies, but money reveals people, or if somebody felt, gypped during the time that the person was alive, and then they're worried about whether the sibling's going to take advantage. That's why we have bonds, to help protect that. But still, it can be tiresome and gruesome. And I feel for people. I feel for people because not only have you lost your loved one, but now you have the probate stuff hanging over your head. So get with a good attorney, get with a real estate agent who understands probate. Nothing wrong with your friendly real estate agent down the street, but if they don't understand the intricacies of probate, they could lead you down the wrong path, and you don't want that happening. Bottom line, if you need any help with any of this, feel free to reach out. I can, if it's not somewhere I can help you in the Atlanta area, like I recommended somebody to Rome, Georgia the other day and connected a real estate agent there who specialized in probate. Or if you need somebody else in the other parts of the state of Georgia, I can make that connection and make sure you're really taken care of during this process. And we also have a free ebook you can sign up for, so link down below for our ebook. If you have any questions, reach out. I'm here for you, and I'll see you guys the next time. Bye.